Hello everyone, my name's FlareBlitzed here and welcome back to our adventures on Fatal 12. In the last time we met up with a girl named... not Sio, I was thinking of another visual novel. I've forgotten her name now, we'll get to it eventually. But it ended up being a very gluttonous adventure of a lot of eating and visiting Miharu in her cafe restaurant thingy Bobby. School ends up flying by somehow. There's a maid cafe, I forgot. Once class over there, the three of us met up at the gate. We couldn't have Sonya infiltrate the school again, so we got her to wander around the university campus instead. Not only open to everyone, but there's a library there as well. I'm sure she surprised a few students there, but oh well. However, once we meet up, I realised getting her to do that was a mistake. The university here seems like fun. Sonya. Her words pierced my heart. She'll never have the opportunity to attend a university regardless of Divine Selection's outcome. Even if she were to win somehow, it wouldn't cure her condition. Whether or not she really would die soon after is unknown, but at the very least, she's convinced herself that it is certain. Don't beat yourself up, right, Rinka? Right. I'm happy that I got to see something new. Okay, we should get going. There's lots of us to see today. I can't wait to see anything and everything. Things seem fine between the two of them. I guess they've put whatever happened last night behind them. Like Miharu said, we've got plenty to see today. We make our way to the station. Which station? Oh, we're at a temple, it seems. It's hard to sum up all the places we visited. First was Tokyo Skytree, after that Senjushi Temple. We made sure to avoid a busy area, but we still got a good look of Kanarian. Whatever that would be called. We saw Ropin Hills from a distance as well, but before that we paid a visit to Jambokucho since it served as the setting for an old anime. Walking from place to place would have been a bit much, so we used a taxi instead. Sonya's parents must be rich since she paid for everything with her credit card, just like she did at a maid cafe. That helped a lot, especially because we also went to Odaiba. After getting on the Ferris wheel and seeing the Fuji television building, we had to turn right around to reach our final stop. Said last stop is Sojoji Temple. It's said to be a time-honored temple with ties to the Tokugawa family from the Edo period. That and something about Pure Land Buddhism. Based on what we're seeing here, a lot of bands and artists use the open area for concerts. The area's name and those of its surrounding stations are based on the name of the huge gate at the entrance to the temple, so it goes without saying just how impressive it all is. It's only 30 or so minutes from the station, and yeah, I had no idea this place even existed. I'm exhausted. I figured we'd be fine since we're on our feet most of the time when we're working, but this really has been taxing. Meanwhile, Sonya walks ahead of us as we complain about our aching feet. Wow! She bursts out an exclamation of wonder as she points at Tokyo Tower, visible off in the distance. You can see it clearly past the temple. Its huge red frame, I almost said flame bear, but frame is decorated with all sorts of coloured lighting. Obviously I've seen it before, but seeing it this close at night is a completely different experience. It's so pretty. Yeah. Tokyo is such a nice place. All three of us are entranced by the sight of Tokyo Tower glimmering in the night for a good while. It brings back memories of the parade and light show I saw together with Miharu at the theme park. Divine Selection wasn't even on my mind back then. Never would I have imagined that I'd wind up in a situation like this. I wonder if Sonya's reflecting on her life right now. There is a hint of sorrow on her face as she looks up at the Tokyo Tower.
うして綺麗なものを見ることができて、ソーニャはとっても幸せです。
Oops, I didn't mean to select it twice there. I'm happy I had the opportunity to see something this lovely.
幸せすぎて寂しいであります。
I'm so happy that it's making me feel worried. Her eyes water and reflect the light coming from the tower. She realizes her gaze higher into the night sky, but it does little to keep the tears from running down her cheeks.
この瞬間がソーニャにとって一番幸せなのであります。
It has to be the happiest moment of my life.
最初で最後の
My first time experiencing the world.
ソーニャの見た、ソーニャが感じた
And it's
広い世界。
It's almost the last, also the last. Gosh. The floodgates damming her tears have broken. I understand that feeling all too well. She can't keep up the facade any longer. Her bright smile has been snuffed out by this outburst.
もうおしまいなのであります。
It's all over.
これで今日で
Today is my last. I feel my own eyes starting to water, but I do everything in my power to hold it in. I move to hug her, but Miharu notices and shakes her head at me.
感情移入しすぎてはいけないよ。
Don't let yourself get too attached. She says it's quiet enough so that only I can hear. I can't stop myself though. If crying together with her isn't an option, then I want her to know I'm here for her at the very least. There's no doubt she'll crumble in front of reality otherwise. Sonya.
お姉様、パパ、ママ。
Aww.
ソーニャは辛いであります。今ならわかるであります。
I told myself that I accepted my scenario, but it's not true.
世界にはこんなに美しいものがあるのに、
Now I know that the world is beautiful things like this.
もうお別れしないといけないなんて。
But my time here is running out. Time slows to a cruel while Sonya lets all her emotions out. The light from the tower reflects off her tears, causing them to shine like precious jewels.
君は
Rinka? Miharu starts to say something but stops her. Once Sonya finally settles down, we make our way back to Lighthouse. It's 9 PM by the time we get back. Going out to buy stuff for dinner, not to mention making it, we've taken even longer, so we end up ordering some pizza. Needs to say the three of us wolf it down immediately.
美
Aww.
味しいであります。日本の食事は最高なのであります。
Japanese food is quite, but pizza is what you'd call less Japanese. Not when you think of food in Japan, pizza is not the first thing that comes in your head.
いや、宅配ピザこそロシアにもあるでしょう。
Come on, I know for a fact that you can get pizza delivered in Russia as well.
ソーニャは食べられるものが少なかったでありますよ。何も気にせず自由に食事できることはとても幸せであります。
I always had to watch what I ate before this. That's why I'm happy. I can eat whatever I want now. Her tone may be cheery, but there's a certain weight hidden behind each and every word. Miharu manages to keep things from becoming awkward though.
リンカの手料理を食べられないのは残念だ。
Miharu, just no. I'm a bit upset you didn't cook, to be honest.
まあ、もう時間的にね。宅配ピザって子供の頃以来。
Ah, we have to be mindful of the time. Besides, I don't think I've had pizza delivered since I was a kid.
おばあ様と二人暮らしだと特に頼む機会は少ないかもしれないね。
Well, I can't imagine you'd had much opportunity to do so while living with your grandmother.
うん。あんまりデリバリーするって習慣もないみたい。お蕎麦くらいかな。
ピザ自体は店でも作ってたから好きだと思うんだけど。
Yeah, she was never big on getting stuff delivered in the first place, except some soba now and then. She's not against pizza herself, consider she'd make it here every so often.
そもそもおばあちゃん好き嫌いないからね。何でも食べるのが健康の秘訣っていうのがおばあちゃんの口癖だったから。
In fact, she'd eat pretty much anything, to a point where she'd always go on about how not being fussy about food is the secret behind her being so healthy. She really is healthy for her age too. She really enjoys bragging about still having all her teeth intact.
リンカの好き嫌いがないのもおばあ様の影響なんだね。
I see you take after her in that regard.
それは間違いないかも。
Yeah, I must.
お姉様のおばあ様でありますか。
Your grandmother must be a wonderful person.
よくわかっているね。リンカを育てたのだから当たり前さ。
She's the one who raised Rinka, so you're right about that. So says Miharu, who I'm pretty sure hasn't actually met my gran. There's plenty to talk about while we ate our dinner, but topics often revolve about Sonya's family. Her grandmother in particular sounds like a nice person, and she's apparently good at sewing. In fact, she's the one who made Paschaten for Sonya.
ソーニャ、家で友達がいなかったですから。本を読む時もアニメを見ている時も一人ぼっちにならないようにパサジールをプレゼントしてくれたであります。
I never had any friends, so my mother gifted me with my teddy bear to me when I wouldn't be lonely while reading books and watching anime.
今日はパサジールも広い世界を見ることができてきっと喜んでいたであります。
He had the chance to see the world along with me today, so I'm sure it's as happy as I am. A heavy yawn erupts from Sona after that, almost as if to lighten the mood.
お腹いっぱいになったら眠くなってしまいました。
Now that I've eaten, I'm starting to feel sleepy.
今日はたくさん歩いたからね。ゆっくり休みな。
We did a lot of walking today, so get some rest, okay?
おやすみなさいであります。
Okay, good night. Saying that, she makes her way upstairs. Miharu and I are alone together downstairs. Miharu ends up being the one to strike up a conversation while we tidy everything up.
ソフィアに尾行らしき影もなかった。11番は相当な自信家で酔狂な人のようだ。
I didn't notice anyone following us, so numerical 11 certainly seems to be confident, whimsical even. I could do Miharu was on edge the entire day, mainly because I was the same way when I first met Sonya. It's a little far-fetched to assume that one person would keep an eye on her appearance and the other would watch Sonya, since two participants are working together. In this case, numerical 3, Frederico, would probably watch her appearance, while numerical 11 would be in charge of Sonya because she's the one holding the cards.
ソーニャのカードを3枚持っているから自信があるっていうのは納得できる。でもどうして酔狂って思うの？
I understand why she'd feel confident when she's got all three of Sonya's cards, but what makes you call her whimsical?
僕の予想では11番はただソフィアに楽しんでほしかっただけだと思うんだ。
From what I gather, she really wanted Sonya to enjoy her final few days here.
いいかい？両親と協力して情報を調べることを徹底するなら最終日だって一緒にいさせてはいけない。これは当たり前だね。
If she really wanted to make sure that Sonya wouldn't work with her parents to dig up info on them, then she'd prevent them from meeting up, even on the final day. That should go without
で
saying.
も最後の時は家族と過ごすことを許した。慈悲とそう思われるけれど僕は違うと予想している。
And yet she granted Sonya the opportunity to be with her family. It makes her seem compassionate at a glance, but there's more to it than that.
カセはソフィアではなく彼女の両親にかけられたんだ。
In truth, she didn't place the shackles on Sonya, she tied the hands of her parents.
どういう？
I'm not sure if I follow.
ソフィアの両親は選定を心から信じているかどうかわからない。娘が一時的に良くなっているだけだとわずかでも思っているなら、病気のソフィアを日本滞在中も気にかけ続けるに決まっている。
Well, there's no guarantee that Sonya's parents believe her regarding divine selection. They might have brought her here under the false assumption that she's made a temporary recovery.
それこそこんな脂っこいピザなんて食べさせないさ。おっと、僕が嫌いなわけではないけどね。客観的に見ての話さ。
In that case, they never let her have fatty foods like pizza. Bear in mind that I'm talking from an objective standpoint here, and not my personal opinion regarding pizza.
ソフィアが知らない世界を見るというのは、両親といては成し得ないことだと思う。
I don't think she
ここ
would
ま
have.
で言えばわかるかい？
I don't think she would have been able to see the world like she wanted had she stayed with her parents. Do you understand where I'm going with this yet? I think back to Sonya's comment about having the freedom to eat what she likes. Pointing that out must mean she previously didn't have that freedom.
結果的にソーニャは私たちと違って広い世界を見ることができたかもしれない。
Sonya's definition of seeing the world at large differs from ours, and Numero 11's actions enabled her to fulfill that one
も
desire.
ちろん11番にとってソフィアと僕たちが出会うのは予想外だっただろう。だが今まで話したことから考えて、11番はソフィアの未練を叶えさせたかったと本気で思っていたように予想できる。
Just want to run into something quick. So we've got name and regret, but we don't have the... We know it was some sort of illness, but not what exactly it was. You don't have tens? What about you? Nope. You must know her name, obviously. The game doesn't update time to time when it comes to cards. It's just sort of out there in the blue. Because we only have a name and regret, not the cause of death, which is... Well, the regret is the most difficult thing to get by. But yeah. Of course, I doubt she expected Sonya to run into us. Even then, the desire for her to minimize that regret is definitely there.
たった2日や3日では未練が完全になくなりはしないだろうが、それでも両親との観光では今夜見せたソフィアの涙は意味が違っていたかもしれない。
2 or 3 days likely isn't enough for her to completely remove her regret, but I think it's safe to say that her tears tonight would have held a completely different meaning had she been there with her parents.
納得できる。正しいかどうかわからないけど、ソーニャは心から感動していたと思う。
I see. That makes sense. Not sure I can say if this was the correct option, but at the very least, Sonya seems to have been happy from the bottom of her
そ
heart.
してこれらの情報は11番のパーソナルを知るために重要な情報になってくるかもしれない。
This may serve as an important foundation when it
僕が
comes
結論として言いたいのはここではないね。
to learning more about Numero 11 too. That's not the main point of this discussion
こ
though.
れからこの選定を改めて僕と一緒に戦わないかい？
Instead, I want you to consider joining forces with me for the remainder of the divine selection. She stares deep into my eyes. It takes a while, but she finally comes up with a proposition that feels long overdue. I stare right back, unable to say anything in response. My brain completely shuts down. I honestly have no idea what to say. I can hear the sound of her breathing, noticing that her nerves are building with each and every breath I finally answer.
ダメだよ。だってミハルは私を最後の一人にするためにって言うでしょ。
I'm sorry, but I can't. You have every intention of making me the final survivor, don't you?
リンカを最後の一人にするのは僕のためでもあるけれどね。
I do, but you need to realize that I'd be doing it for my own sake as well.
同じだよ。それじゃ違う。私もミハルを最後の一人にするためにって思わなきゃ平等じゃないよ。
That doesn't change anything. It's not fair to partner up with you when I haven't resolved to do the same thing for your sake.
私はまだどっちが生き残ればいいのかなんてわからない。
You're going to be too loud. I still can't decide which one of us deserves to live through this.
美晴は親友だ。それは間違いないよ。死なれるのは絶対に嫌だ。でもね、私も自分の未練をちゃんと知るまでは、自分がどうして生きているのかって知るまでは死にたくないんだ。
There's no way I'd be fine with letting one of my closest friends give their life away. And yet, I don't want to die without knowing my own regret. Without knowing why I got wrapped up in all of this to begin with.
迷いがある限り、一緒に行動しても足を引っ張ることになる。
So as long as I've got stuff like that on my mind, I'll only hold you back in the end. There's no doubt I'll face situations similar to when I'm confronted Alan at the hospital again. I'm sure my resolve will take a hit again when the time comes.
君の
Your regret, huh? Miharu trails off. There's no need for her to speak when her expression screams the complicated thoughts she's having. The silence doesn't last too long, however.
僕の死因に心当たりがあるはずなのにね。確信を持ったら軽蔑するはずだろうに。
I'm fairly sure that you should have an idea about my cause of death. And I'm so sure that you'd be appalled by it too.
けれども、分かった。今はまだそれでいい。だが、僕のスタンスは変わらない。僕の運命はきっと君のためにあるのだから。
It's
迷
fine
いが
though.
なくなる時を心待ちにしているよ。
I'm okay with maintaining the status quo, even if my stance on the matter hasn't changed. My fate exists for your sake, so I simply wait for the day when you finally clear up your own personal doubts.
美晴はどうしてそこまで私を生かそうとしてくれるの？美晴にだって未練はあるはずなのに。
Why are you so
自分の
desperate
カー
to
ドをちゃんと持っているでしょ。
Why are you so desperate to give your life for mine? Surely you have your own regret to care about. You do have your own cards, don't you?
君を愛しているからさ。
I thought of this. This is where the outburst comes out. It's because of that. Love? Her exclamation throws me off at first, but naturally she must mean in a friendly way.
さて、僕たちももう寝よう。明日ソフィアを見送るのだろう。
That's just a huge iceberg in the ocean there. Anyway, we should get some sleep ourselves. You plan on seeing Sonya off tomorrow, don't you?
そうだね。
Yeah, I do. I know she's the type of person to use suggestive lines to make her actual feelings. It doesn't stop me from getting all flustered though. Maybe because there's the off chance that she means it. In that case, I'd have no idea how to handle the situation. That's making it even worse. Aw. What a friend. Getting to sleep is no easy task after going back to my room. There's way too much on my mind. Lingering in my head the most is what Miharu said, that I should have an idea about her cause of death. I didn't outright deny her claim because, well, it's true. I've just been desperately trying to avoid thinking about it because I didn't want to see my thoughts regarding my friend's demise getting turned into a card. There's one thing I can say for sure though. Regardless.
軽蔑なんてするわけないだろう。
There's no way I'd ever think less of you over it. She seems fast asleep already, judging by her breathing. Can't help but be impressed by how good she looks even while sleeping. It's hard not to notice. Okay, the scar on her wrist peeking out from under her sleeve. Okay, a lot of detail there. Saturday! Sunday? Okay. It skipped from Friday to Sunday then. I brew some coffee for both Sonya and Miharu once morning comes around. Sonya didn't want to drink hers black, so I made sure to put some milk and sugar in it. Aww.
初めて飲んだであります。美味しかったです。
This was my first time drinking coffee. It was delicious.
久しぶりにここでコーヒーをいただいたね。前とは少し味が変わっている。
It's been a while since I had some coffee here. The taste seems to have changed too.
前に入れたのはおばあちゃんだったからちょっと味は落ちちゃったかな。
Well, it was my grandmother who made it last time. So that's not a surprise to hear.
そんなことはない。僕は変わったと言ったんだ。この香りがきっとリンカのコーヒーなんだ。
That's not it. I was implying that I've changed. I can tell that it's your coffee based on the fragrance alone. My coffee, huh? I suppose I've been making slight changes to the way I prepare it for a while, but it doesn't matter right now though. Rather, I can't help but lose myself as I stare at Miharu basking in the morning glow while enjoying her coffee. It causes me to recall her comment from last night, which forces me to avert my eyes. But it says it's Sunday, and the previous night was Friday, so how could you... Anyways, Sonya is staring at hers too. I'm not sure if she noticed me doing so and followed suit, but she eventually smiles and speaks up.
お姉様と美晴にソーニャからお願いであります。
I have a request for the both of you.
パサジールを
Aww,
預かってください。
I'd like to leave my teddy bear with you.
だっておばあちゃんからもらった大切なものなんでしょ。
Huh? But it's an important gift from your grandmother, isn't it?
パサジール。ロシア語で旅人という意味だね。
It's Russian for traveler, isn't it?
驚きました。美晴はソーニャの国の言葉を知っていたのですか？
Wow, you understand my home language? I'm impressed.
ソーニャの思いが、
Aww.
希望が名前にこもってたんだね。
The name must represent your desire to go out and see the world. A pain of sadness hits me as I remember Keiko's belief regarding the meaning behind one's name, although I do my best to hide it behind a smile.
それでお願いというのは？
What is it that you want us to do with it?
この子にもっと世界を見せてあげてほしいであります。
I want you to
ソ
show
ー
it.
ニャの代わりにこの子に
I want you to show it. I want you to show it. For goodness sakes, am I talking? For goodness sakes, I want you to show it the world in my place. She holds her closest friend out to Miharu with that beaming smile of hers.
僕に渡しても意味がない。
There's
だって
there's no point in handing it over to me.
ソーニャのお願いは二人へのお願いであります。
This is a request for the both of you. She leaves the traveller on the table at which Miharu is sitting and prepares to continue with her request. Miharu unconsciously strokes its head with her finger, at least. I assume it's unconscious of her, so she retracts her finger the moment she realizes what she's doing.
ちょっとだけソーニャの話を聞いてくださいであります。
Would you mind listening to what I have to
女
say?
神の選定は12人が始まりから12週間後、選定の最後の時に本来同じ場所にいるはずだったと言っていました。
The goddess said that originally all 12 of us were supposed to have gathered in the same place 12 weeks from the beginning of divine selection.
実はソーニャの病気が悪くならなければ旅行が決まっていたのであります。
In reality, my parents planned to take me on a trip if my condition didn't get any worse.
行く場所はパパとママが決めることになっていたでありますが、
They had
日
even
本、東京ということだけは決まっていたのであります。
they had even decided on bringing me to Tokyo.
しかし運命は変わった。ソフィアの病気は悪化した。だがそうか、君たち家族が東京に来る運命もあったというわけだね。
Fate changed its course, and your condition grew worse. Still, that means you were originally supposed to come here.
はい、運命は変わったであります。
Aw.
ソーニャは旅行の前に死んでしまいました。
Yes. Fate changed its course by having me die before we could take the trip.
ソーニャが言いたかったのは運命は変わるってことであります。悪いように変わるならきっといいようにも。
The important part here is that fate can change. If it can do so for the worst, then it could also do so for the best.
女神様が言うには12人のうちの1人しか生き残れないのが運命とのことであります。でも 運命がそんなにコロコロ変わるものであれば
The goddess said that fate will allow only one of us to make it to the end. But if fate is something that can change on a whim, then
お姉様も美晴もずっと生きることのできる運命もあるかもしれないであります。
it's possible that it could be altered to let both of you make it through together.
ソーニャはもう間に合わないであります。でもお姉様と美晴ならパサジールにもっと広い世界を見せてあげられるかもしれないであります。
It may be too late for me, but I believe that you two will show even more of the world to traveler together.
運命が変わる可能性。
You think it's possible to change fate?
ありえないよ。変わったとしてそれは生き残るものが変わるだけ。僕がいる限りそれがリンカであることに変わりはないけれど。
It's not. Even if we could, all that would change is that which one of us makes it through. And believe me, it won't be anyone other than Rinka so long as I'm around.
僕らが今生きているのは女神の決めたルールがあるからだろ。
Don't forget that it's the same goddess's rules that are keeping us alive right now.
はい。ですが、ソーニャは2人にお願いをするであります。
That's true, but still, I won't take my request back. Sonya speaks with enough confidence to refute Miharu's denial. The look in her eyes tells me that she is convinced by her words too.
ソフィアは最後までわがままだね。
Selfish until the very end, aren't we?
遺言ですから。
This is my final will, so yes.
そうか。約束はできないけれど。リンカ、君はソフィアの思いを受け止めるのだろう。
I see. I won't make any promises, but let me ask you, Rinka. Are you willing to carry out her request? Yeah. I nod firmly to reinforce my response. This is probably the only thing I could do for her now.
では、ソーニャは行くであります。
In that case, I'll be on my way.
お姉様、美晴、どうもありがとうございました。
Thank you for giving me some of your precious time.
ああ、お気をつけて。
Sure. Take care.
ソーニャ、私は楽しかった。絶対に忘れないから。
Sonya, I promise I won't forget about the fun time we spent together.
ソーニャもとても幸せでした。
Being with you two made me very happy too.
名残惜しくなってしまうので、もう行くであります。
I should leave before it gets too hard for me to do so.
では、さようなら。
Alright. Farewell. She bows deeply before leaving. I watch her sink down to the horizon from the store window.
行ってしまったね。
Off she goes. I am too caught up in my own thoughts to properly register what Miharu says. Nothing can change the fate that Sonya is going to be eliminated tonight. When I'm thinking about it, I only have 2 of her cards. I don't even have the option of triggering a simultaneous election like I did with Keiko. Granted, even if I did, it would be nothing more than a temporary measure to console myself. But seeing her walk off on her own like that is too much.
リンカ、
Rinka, before I could catch myself, I lose my composure, and the tears pouring down my face are proof of that.
だから最初に君がソーニャと仲良くしているのを知った時、僕は君をバカだと言ったんだ。
This right here is why I called the situation dumb when I first learned about
で
it.
もリンカは後悔していないと言ったね。その気持ちは今も変わっていないかい？
You said you didn't regret your decision though. Does that hold true even now? I can't compose myself to respond verbally, so I have to nod in response.
そんなリンカだから僕は愛しているんだよ。
And this right here, That's exactly why. Etc. She sits down next to me after saying that. The moment our shoulders touch, I turn and cling onto her. She stays by my side the entire time I cry. Aww. After a glass of cold water, I manage to calm myself down. Meanwhile, Miharu gets ready to leave because she has to go to work.
ではまた明日学校で会おう。
I'll see you at school tomorrow. Yeah.
ごめんね、さっきは泣いちゃって。美晴は強いなって思ったよ。
Yeah, sorry for crying so much. Today reminded me how weak I am in comparison to you.
自覚がないかもしれないけれど、僕からすれば君の方がよっぽど強い。
Compliments firing left and right. It's always going to be that case where you view the other person as being more affectionate than yourself. Yeah, you may not realise it yourself, but I'd say you're far stronger than me. I deny her claim with a shake of my head as she smiles at me.
選定の期間はまだ半分にも満ちていない。リンカの迷いが消えるまで僕は待っているよ。
We're not even halfway through divine selection. Remember that I'll be waiting for you once you've cleared up your own doubts.
ありがとう、美晴。でも私は美晴にもっと自分のことを大切にしてほしいとも思うよ。
Thanks. I'd appreciate it if you showed the same concern for yourself, though.
その言葉、そっくりそのまま君に返したいよ。そういえば、さっきはまた学校でと言ったけれど、次に会うのは夢の中だったね。
Right back at you. Oh, and I said I'd see you at school tomorrow, but I guess we'll see each other in the dream world before then.
それ笑えないよね。じゃあまたね。
Hey, that's not a funny joke. I'll see you later.
あ、
Yeah. That said, she turns and makes her way out. I should be used to being alone here, yet somehow feels a lot more quieter than before. It wasn't long ago that the three of us were talking and laughing together. It's already almost afternoon, but I decided to open the store up. I also decided to give my gran a call later on in the evening. Yeah. What's going to await within the dream world now?
ごきげんよう、運命の奴隷の皆様。
Good evening, my lovely little slaves to fate. And thus today's session begins. Parsia's graceful voice rings throughout the court. I really can't fathom what's going on through her mind. For what purpose does she divulge the intricacies of fate to us? What drove her to begin divine selection in the first place?
浮かない顔をしてらっしゃいますわね。
My, aren't we a gloomy bunch? I refused to even consider her motivation before now, because I saw her as some inferior being completely removed from the logic of humans. But now I find it hard not to remember what Sonya said. Fate can be changed. The idea of being able to alter the very events of this ritual has never even come to mind.
皆様、釣れませんわね。私と楽しくお話をしても損はしませんのに。
Come. Why not enlighten the mood and engage me in some reviving discussion?
いいから早くしろ。
Cut the rubbish and get on with it. Alan's caught response services his attempts to hurry things along. I wonder where he is in the real world. I stopped researching after meeting Sonya.
あなた様はいつもせっかちですわね。何か焦っていらっしゃるのかしら？
You're often in quite the rush, aren't you? Is there any particular reason for this?
余計な話を好かないだけだ。
I'm not one for pointless chit-chat.
それに、お前は中立の立場のはずだろう。僕との会話が他の参加者の有利になるかもしれない。
Besides, you're supposed to be a neutral party. Did you not consider the possibility that other participants could benefit from my talking to you?
お前自身の行動でこの選定が平等ではなくなるが、女神としてそれはいいのか？
I don't think she actually really cares. Surely you wouldn't be pleased with your own actions if they gave others an unfair advantage, would you?
あら、私は中立な立場で 平等にこの選定を取り仕切ると申した覚えはありませんけれど。
Goodness, did something happen to my memory? I certainly don't recall making any claims about being a neutral party, nor that divine selection will be conducted in a fair manner. Hold on, that ain't right. Federico is the next to chime in. Actually, this might be the first time I heard him speak. Now that he's gotten my attention, I realise that he might actually be the tallest one here, and he's pretty stylish to boot. The suit he's wearing looks great on him. I wouldn't blame anyone if they confused him for a model. I'm sure as hell ain't fine with the idea of this whole thing being rigged when it's my life on the line. Christ, this guy.
あら、3番様、いかがなさいましたか?
Oh my, something the matter, Numerial 3. Numerial 11 reacts to Frederico's outburst, which causes Miharu to shoot me a quick glance. Looks like those two really are working together. Hell, this whole thing's been unfair ever since the cards were distributed at the beginning. Two of the cards I got belong to people that guy's already eliminated. He points toward Alan as he states his concerns.
なら、貴様の初期カードで有効な残り1枚というわけだ。
So it's safe to say that you only have one card of value remaining from your initial lot spin. What a way to give away your cards, Federico. You should never reveal your most closely guarded secrets. What?
不平不満をこぼすのもいいが、自分から情報を開示するのは愚かだ。
Feel free to voice your issues regarding the system itself, but only a fool would lay information like that out in the open. I'm gonna make you regret it if you keep running that mouth.
僕に現状不満はない。女神、君が速やかに選定を進めればそれでいい。
I have no issue with the current system, so I'd prefer if you sped things up. Sped things along.
承知いたしましたわ。あなた様もそれでよろしいかしら?
Very well. I'm assuming you're fine with it too? She turns to face Federico. He refuses to comply, raising his voice in a panic instead. Just a sec here. Are the rest of you fine with this? He directs his question outward to remaining participants, his arms spread wide. No one responds to him though. Not even Numerial 11, his partner.
これで分かっただろう。
There's your answer.
不満がないわけではないが、余計なことを話して失態を見せるのは避けたいというのが総意だ。
They may have their own issues, but they're all united in not making a scene embarrassing themselves like you have.
貴様のようにボロを出すのは特に愚かだ。
What's more, they'd much prefer not to make their own incompetence known to others, like you have. I won't let you forget this, punk.
ああ、貴様が脱落するまでは覚えているだろう。
Don't worry, I have no intention of forgetting it until you've been eliminated. Parse ends up being the one to interrupt their argument with a sigh.
もう口喧嘩は現実世界でお願いしますわ。お会いすることがあればですけれど。
Really now, can you not save your argument for the real world? Assuming you met there, of course. Following that, she makes her way to the center of the court.
それでは今宵も女神の選定を始めますわ。
Regardless, allow me to begin tonight's selection.
回りなさい。運命の大時計。
Revolve, O clock of fate. Once again, it's time for us to decide whether or not we want to elect someone. Should things proceed as Sonya believes, Numerial 11 will elect Numerial 10 tonight. I grit my teeth at the inevitable and announce that I won't be electing anyone. Upon next is Miharu, who will likely say the same. This is the fourth election, and it's safe to say there's a solid split between how each of us are approaching the situation. Some have opted to go all out with info gathering, while others are choosing to sit back and let the situation unfold. The fact that numerial 11 and 12 are the only ones to elect anyone yet is proof of that.
僕の番だね。10番。君を指名させてもらうよ。
My turn then. In that case, I'll be electing you, numerial 10. What the?
ここに来て初めての方からのご指名ですわね。
Oh ho, a first timer will be taking the plunge.
承りましたわ。それでは他の皆様にも伺ってまいりましょう。
So Miharu must have been able to learn her cause of death then. Precisely. Very well, allow me to question the remaining participants first. I can't hide my surprise. That's not good because it could act as a hint to others, as it's known by this point that we're acquainted. But that isn't enough to stop me from acting out. Meanwhile, Sonya seems unfazed by Miharu's election. Don't tell me, did they plan this from the beginning? Their conversation that night wasn't just about Sonya having Miharu's name card, but this as well. As I'm mulling it over, the clock hand eventually revolves around to numerial 11.
指名するぜ、私はよ。そこの小娘と同じ10番のこいつをさ。
Yeah, I've got an election, alright. Same as that broad over there. I'm going for numerial 10. She points to Sonya. It's obvious she hasn't anticipated this scenario. She doesn't seem bent out of shape though. She looks more like she's enjoying this turn of events, much like a predator would as it bares its fangs towards its prey. Numerial 11 knows that Sonya holds her name card. If Miharu eliminates Sonya, then it's possible that she could end up with said card. Naturally, this is something numerial 11 would want to avoid. The same likely applies to Miharu. That's why they're both aiming to have Sonya's election called off. It wouldn't make sense for them to put one of their own cards out there to protect another.
さあ、女神さん、こういう場合はどうするんだっけ?
So you have to reveal one of your own personal cards. So what was in your script for when this kind of situation comes about?
指名の優先権を取得するかどうか決めていただきますわ。ご自身のカードを1枚全員に公開すれば優先権を取得できます。
We are certain whether or not you wish to obtain election priority, which requires that one of you reveal a personal card to the other participants.
この場合、先に決めた側が駆け引きで不利になりますから、同時に決めていただきます。
Whoever does so first would be at a disadvantage, so do make your intentions known at the same time.
優先権を取得する場合は、ご自身のカードを1枚、私へ差し出してください。
Should you wish to obtain priority, then by all means, present me with one of your personal cards.
無理で構わねえ。私から意思表示してやるよ。優先権はノーだ。いらねえ。あとはてめえの方で決めてくれ。
Heh, ain't too fussed about fair or unfair. Gonna make it clear that I'm not interested in doing that. So the decision's all yours, girlie.
もう、11番様。私がルールを申し上げているのですから守ってくださいな。
Come on, numerial 11. I'd much appreciate if you were abide by my proposed rules.
それで2番様はいかがなさいますか?
Your stance on the matter, numerial 2? Parser turns to face Miharu, speaking in a slow and soft tone. Miharu nods in response, opening her card book. She produces one card from it.
僕は氏名のカードを公開しよう。これを持って優先権を取得し、10番、君を指名させてもらう。
That's the most dangerous card to reveal, because then it's so easy to get the other two. Or you've got a lead on the other two then. I'll reveal my name card to the rest of the participants, now that I have a right to do so. Numerial 10, I elect you. Sonya remains unfazed by this turn of events. Her expression seems forlorn, but that's been true ever since Divine Selection began. Meanwhile, numerial 11 has stopped smiling. She gives Miharu a vitriolic glare instead.
指名は捨てか。あいつ面白いじゃねえか。
She abandoned her own name? Well, No denying that she's an interesting one.
承りました。
Very well.
それではこれより2番様による10番様のご指名を開始いたしますわ。
You haven't even gone round to numero 12 yet. But then again, saying that, numero 12 was one who elected last night, so I think in the rules that you can't elect 2 people within 2 nights. Allow me to begin the election procedure. A familiar tremor accompanies her statement. Shortly after, Miharu's and Sonya's platforms ascend to be up to upper stratum. Miharu and Sonya face one another in the upper stratum of the Court of Fate. Neither look too happy about what will soon take place. Regardless, they make sure to maintain eye contact.
ミハル、ありがとうであります。
Thank you, Miharu.
いやお礼を言うのは僕の方だよ。あの夜君の方から僕に声をかけてきた時は驚いたけれど
I'm the one that
決
should
断は間違っていないと信じているよ。
I'm the one that should be thanking you. I certainly never expected such a proposition from you, but your decision is the right one.
はい。きっとお姉様ではできない判断だったと思うであります。
I knew that sister wouldn't be able to find it in her to do this.
僕はリンカのために命を捧げると決めているからね。
Oh,
覚悟するのはたやすいよ。
that's quite scary to think about, actually. I've already settled on giving my life for Rinka, so steeling myself for events like this is an easy feat.
改めまして
Pete.
ごきげんよう。
Good evening once again. Parser appears out of nowhere as usual, offering them both a welcoming smile. Miharu looks more displeased by her presence.
あなた様方はお知り合いでいらっしゃったのですね。それに他の参加者たちのように敵意を向け合ってもいません。
I see you two have already acquainted. What's more, you don't seem hostile towards one another like the other participants have been. The only hostility present right now is being directed towards Parser herself. Miharu makes her desire to not engage with Parser clear by changing the subject.
この後僕はどうすればいいのかな。
So what do I do now?
10番様のカードを3枚お選びになってください。
Choose the
そ
three
してそ
cards.
こに書かれている内容を読み上げてくださいませ。
Choose the 3 cards that correspond to numero 10 and read their contents aloud to me.
あ
Right. Okie dokie. Miharu's cards engage from her book and float in the air in front of her. She plucks 3 cards from them.
使命ソフィア・プリジニチエ・アレクセエーブナ死因詳細は省いてここに書かれているものをそのまま読むよ。
Her name is Her name is Sophia. I won't go into detail, but her cause was from an illness.
ソフィア君の願いは聞いたよ。僕は約束できないけれどリンカは君の願いを受け止めた。
Sophia, I still can't make any promises regarding your request, but Rinka said she's willing to carry it out.
リンカが叶えたいというのであれば僕も最大限協力をするよ。ただしリンカが最後の一人に残ることが最優先なのは変わらない。
That being the case, I'll do everything I can to help her. Just remember that my priority is to ensure that she makes it through to the end.
はい。
I'm
わか
aware
って
of
います
this.
それでもソーニャは最後にお姉様とミハルと会うことができて幸せでありました。
I can still say with all my confidence that meeting both of you brought me more happiness than I've ever experienced before.
パサジールのこともどうかよろしくするであります。
Please take care of Traveler for me.
あ
We will. Miharu casts her eyes back down to her cards. A few minutes later, she closed her eyes and recites the contents of the third card.
未練広く自由に世界を見ること。
Her regret was not having the freedom to see the world at large. All three cards begin to move on their own in response. Once they reach the middle of the court of fate, they come together and form a triangular shape.
さような
Goodbye.
僕はさよならという言葉が嫌いなんだ。願わくはリンカと僕の幸福を祈ってほしい。
I'm not fond of goodbyes. I much prefer you to pray for myself and Rinka's happiness.
はい
She takes a deep breath before clasping her hands together and offering up a prayer.
リンカとミハルの未来に祝福がありますように
May Rinka and Miharu find joy in their future.
ありがとうソフィア。君のことは忘れない。
Thank you, Sophia. I'll never forget you. May your soul rest in peace. The light from Miharu's cards grows stronger and brighter until it engulfs the entire area. Miharu makes sure to keep her eyes on Sonya's tear-stained face, no matter how blinding the light glows. Okay. I keep reading it wrong, unfortunately. In a hospital bed again. Feelings of regret and emptiness begin to flow into her. She finds herself lying on Sophia's bed in her room. The doctors rushed in as her parents looked on, praying for her safety. The girl reflected upon her life as her breathing grew even more pained. The scene of this room was perhaps the most viewed scenery she'd witnessed throughout her life. She could only ever experience the outside world through a book or monitor. Freedom remained a foreign concept. Just how much time did she spend imagining the wonders that would come with attaining such a thing? In the end, her life was nothing but dull. Dull to the point where she spent her final moments contemplating her reality and how it compared to the vast world she'd so longed to experience. She was never meant for indoors, only for the outside.
趣味が悪いな。脱落した人間の今はの際を指名者に見せるなんてね。
You have to be rotten to the core to make us experience the last moments of those we eliminate.
私が意図したものではありませんわこれは儀式でございますから
Unfortunately, I have no say in the matter. Do not forget that this is a ritual.
あなた様の指名により選定中一時的に変わっていた運命が元の死の運命へと強制的に引き戻される
Your election tonight has forcibly reverted the fate of that young girl back to its original course.
この場所の力を借り儀式は行われるその余波があなたに言ってしまうのはあくまで弊害どうしようもないことでございますわ
The court of fate exists to carry out that ritual. Alas, nothing can be done about each participant being affected by the aftermath of their own actions.
待ってくれ。君の女神の意図ではない。これは女神の選定だろう。君の意図しない力が干渉しているというのか。
Wait a minute. You mean to tell me that you had no say in the matter, despite the ritual being named divine selection? Is there a force involved here that even you cannot control? Rather than receive an answer, Miharu's platform begins its descent. It returns to the lower stratum.
私無用な詮索をする方は好きではございませんの
I'm not terribly fond of needless curiosities. Pastor utters her words only after Miharu has gotten far enough away. Yeah, there probably is another force at work, one we've never met. Numerio 2 comes back down instead of Odette this time. It's been obvious that her and Numerio 1 know each other since this whole thing got started. Ah, so we're in the eyes of Frodreco again. It's been obvious that her and Numerio 1 know each other ever since this whole thing has started. I also figure they aren't at odds with each other, which means it's likely they're working together like me and Odette. Damn, did tonight ever take me by surprise? I saw she'd back down once Odette said she would. Odette's obviously going to prioritise protecting her own information over eliminating Sophia. Even if a chance of me cooperating with Sophia existed, it was still a lot less dangerous for Odette to get a hold of the information Sophia had than another participant. Odetti's point in ignoring what Parser said was to make it clear that there's no need for numero 2 to reveal one of her cards. But she went and gave up her own card anyway. Oh god. This sure has thrown me for a loop. Gotta say, numero 1 sure is a little runt compared to numero 2. I assume they're both Asian, but boy do numero 2 have the right glamour and proportions. I figured she'd get eliminated pretty quick, but she went ahead and surprised me. That's a woman after my own heart. The best women are the gutsy ones, definitely. Not counting freaks of nature like Odetti, of course.
それではどのカードを取得するかを宣言してください。
Which card would you like to obtain? She proposes an all-important question to numero 2. No doubt she's gutting for Odetti's card.
僕は1番死因のカードをもらおう。
What are you trying to propose? I'll take numero 1's cause of death. Damn, she betrays my expectations yet again.
どういうこと？ソーニャが
What's going on here? She had that all along. Doesn't look like anyone's more surprised by this turn of events than numero 1 herself. Can't blame her. Out of all the cards numero 2 could have picked, she went with the one that belongs to the person she's working together with.
君はまだ理解が足りないようだね。これは選定なんだ。これ以上喋らないでくれ。
Why do you satisfy your urge to keep talking? Understand that the situation you're in requires being silent above all else. Numero 2 slaps her a frigid verbal warning. Oh gosh, numero 1 is obviously taken aback, but it does cause her to be quiet.
それでは2番様、指名の優先権を取得した代償として、あなた自身のカードを私にお渡しくださいませ。
Now that your election is over, I'd like you to hand me the personal card of your choosing in exchange for obtaining the right to eliminate numero 10.
ああ、
I assume this is fine. Parser approaches her and is handed a card. My card book begins to shine immediately after that. 2. Name. Habainata Miharu. Yeah. Miharu is pretty easy for me to pronounce. Guess it explains the procedure of revealing your card to the others. Feels more fitting to say when everyone simply obtains it. The others can check their card books as well.
どうして？
Why Miharu?
今はも
I have nothing more to say to you at the moment. Numero 1 was surprised over obtaining her card. 2. That means Miharu never revealed her real name. Safe to say what's going on here at this point if you ask me. The relationship's done for.
それでは、今宵の脱落者は1名。
This could also be a
こ
ploy.
れをもって選定を終了といたしましょう。
Tonight's session resulted in one elimination. I'll bid you all farewell for now. Parser brings an end to tonight's election, ignoring numero 1's shock over the turn of events. This whole situation's gotten pretty messy now. I was starting to panic a bit myself, considering Odetti and numero 12 were outdoing me, but I guess we're at a point where anything can happen. And hey, watching Odetti get taken for a ride felt amazing. I was even planning on approaching Miharu had she opted to go with Odetti's info, but seems like I'm best off sticking with Odetti for now. When all is said and done, I have to put some serious effort into containing this newfound ambition of mine. 4th week processed through. Great. We're now in the conscious of Frederico once again. Right, so thank you so much for watching, folks. I'm pretty sure that was just a ploy played by Miharu there at the end there, just to ensure people the minimum amount of suspicion between the friendship of the both of the people. Right, so thank you so much for watching, guys, and see you all in the next time of Fatal 12. Have a good day and take care of yourselves.